Cenat Union Square riots. Kai's IRL disaster showed how fast a streamer meetup can turn into something far bigger than the creator planned. In August 2023, he announced a giveaway at Union Square in New York City, and thousands showed up. He promised free PlayStations, and so many fans showed up to the event. The crowd grew, the area became overwhelmed, and the situation escalated into chaos that forced police and city services to respond. At least 4 of his fans were hospitalized and 65 were arrested. Kai was taken into custody and faced charges connected to the event. Now, this turned a content idea into a real legal problem overnight. The most important part is what came after. Prosecutors eventually agreed not to pursue the case after he paid $55,000 in damages and uploaded a public apology on Snapchat. With this in mind, the incident still stayed in public memory as a warning sign about influencer reach in real life. It put a spotlight on a new kind of risk. A single post can create a mass gathering faster than a venue, a city block, or even basic security planning can handle. That disconnect is what makes IRL streaming uniquely volatile. IShowSpeed Firework accident. Speed's indoor firework moment became famous because it mixed a basic safety rule with live impulse. On July 4th, 2022, he lit a firework inside his bedroom on stream, and the clip went viral because viewers could see how quickly it could have turned into a serious fire. The reason it stuck around for years is how simple its lesson is. IRL streaming rewards loud moments, fast decisions, and anything that shocks the audience. Lighting fireworks indoors checks every one of those boxes until it stops being entertainment and becomes danger. People remember this moment not because it was complicated, but because it was obvious. You don't need context to understand why it was a bad idea. It also became part of his larger reputation as someone who turns everyday situations into chaotic spectacles, especially when the crowd online is egging the moment on in real time. To be honest though, I think that today Speed does have the most viral clips from any other streamer. This was a clip that blew up early in his career, and I'd say not necessarily for the right reason. What's funny here is that he actually went and recreated the clip with the Pikachu firework just a year later. This shows that in the IRL streaming world, viewers don't just watch. They shape decisions, and sometimes they push creators towards things that shouldn't be done at all. Johnny Somali's South Korea incident. Johnny Somali's IRL disasters overseas became a real case study in what happens when a streamer behavior collides with a country that takes public order and harassment seriously. After arriving in South Korea in 2024, he posted multiple clips that locals saw as disruptive and disrespectful, including incidents on public transit and in businesses. The backlash escalated further after he filmed himself disrespecting a memorial statue tied to wartime slavery. This triggered widespread outrage and deeper scrutiny of his behavior. Over time, his situation shifted from public anger to legal proceedings. Reporting said he was indicted over disruptions at a convenience store and faced a travel ban that kept him from leaving while the case moved forward. Later coverage connected his trouble to additional accusations involving AI-generated intimate deepfakes, which raised the stakes even more. What makes this matter in IRL streaming history is how clearly it shows the limits of the format. The behavior that gets attention in one place can turn into serious legal exposure in another, especially when the content targets local history and public spaces. As of March 2026, he's now facing potentially 3 years in prison in South Korea after he pleaded guilty to 6 of his 8 charges. Jack Doherty McLaren crash. Jack's disaster was one of the clearest examples of why driving streams makes people nervous. In October 2024, he crashed his McLaren while live streaming on Kick. On the stream, you can see that he's distracted by his phone and driving during heavy rain. He hydroplaned and ended up crashing his McLaren. Because the crash happened live, it spread instantly, and the clip became bigger than his usual content. It was a real accident with real consequences, and it forced the platform to respond. Kick banned him after the crash, and news coverage focused on the obvious question of why somebody would be looking at their phone while streaming behind the wheel. What made this moment matter is that it captured the worst side of IRL streaming in one scene. You're chasing attention, you're filming everything, and the camera becomes part of the risk. Even if the creator moves on, the internet doesn't forget a clip like that, because it looks like a cautionary example that's hard to defend. Sam Pepper firework incident. Sam Pepper's disaster came from a live stream that crossed the line from risky to reckless in a single moment. During Diwali celebrations in New Delhi, he was filmed setting off fireworks in a crowded public area. The clip ended up spreading fast because it looked careless and avoidable. If we look at the clip, the firework is literally pointed at a crowd of people, and it shows the firework literally hitting somebody. It was found later that a young teenage girl was actually left partially blinded after he struck the rocket at her face. After this incident, the backlash was severe. When people found out that a little girl was injured due to his actions, it pushed the situation into real-world consequences instead of the usual streamer controversy. Kick suspended him, and the story became a reminder that IRL stunts don't stay inside the screen when the setting is a real street with real bystanders. What made this different from a typical prank clip was how quickly the tone shifted. Viewers weren't arguing about whether it was funny or not. They were asking why a creator was doing something like that in public at all, and why there weren't any safety boundaries. The long-term impact is simple. When a stream becomes evidence of harm, the platform reaction, the public reaction, and the legal risk all become much more serious than a normal cancellation wave. StableRonaldo Slap. Now, this one is on the lighter side of disasters, but it's literally one of the most memorable streaming moments ever. Everyone has seen this clip. This one stands out because it shows how quickly an IRL stream can drift into a real confrontation even when the moment starts as a joke. In June 2024, StableRonaldo was streaming at a gym with YouTuber Bradley Martin, and the situation escalated after Ronaldo took Bradley's hat and pushed the boundary of what was playful. Bradley tried to tell him to give him his hat back, but he wouldn't listen. He then slapped him on camera, and the clip went literally everywhere. Some thought Bradley went too far, and some thought Ronaldo went too far. It felt like a line had been crossed in public, live, with no reset button. The reason it mattered wasn't the drama itself. It was the reminder that IRL content has physical consequences that don't exist in normal online arguments. When the setting is real life, people have real tempers, real reactions, and different ideas of what's acceptable. After this event though, they went back to being good friends, and they even recreated the slap. It became a meme, and all was okay after this disaster. Fousey's 2023 spiral. Fousey's IRL spiral in 2023 played out like a chain reaction where one public meltdown made the next one more likely. The turning point was actually an airport live stream. In this live stream, he interacted with a visibly intoxicated woman in a way viewers saw as exploitive and unsafe. He then stepped away and cited mental health, but the fallout kept escalating. The day after the airport incident, he was banned from Twitch for hateful content, which meant the platform that made his live comeback possible was suddenly gone. Not long after that, he went live again and called the police on himself, saying that his life was in danger. Viewers watched him get arrested during that stream. In the months after, the story around him wasn't about comeback anymore. It became about whether he could stay safe, stay stable, and step away from the patterns that made the spiral possible in the first place. Jean Pormanove death. Jean Pormanove's case is actually one of the darkest IRL streaming stories because it ended with a death during a Kick livestream. He was 46 years old and spent almost 12 days live on stream, essentially getting harmed and humiliated for viewers' entertainment. He passed in his sleep. What followed was a wave of investigations afterward. Reporting described him as a French streamer whose broadcasts involved degrading treatment and humiliation by other people on stream. After his death, French officials and prosecutors moved quickly to examine what happened and whether the platform's moderation failed. The story mattered because it wasn't framed as a normal creator controversy. It became a national conversation about exploitation, responsibility, and what live platforms allow when the content is extreme. Kick said it suspended the involved co-streamers and cooperated with authorities, while public officials pointed to the case as evidence that streaming can become an unregulated spectacle. Later reporting also noted that investigators did not find evidence of traumatic injury as the cause of death. This made the focus even more about the environment around the stream and the months of content leading up to it. In IRL streaming history, this moment is remembered less for a single clip and more for what it forced people to confront. When an audience watches real suffering as entertainment, the line between content and harm can disappear. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.